Hey, it's David here. You can see me by my thumb. We are doing a little review here of the amazing Kamehameha Peter KELAMIS signed Goku Super Saiyan. This is the TOYZILLA exclusive 1 out of 100. And so there were, first of all, two different pops signed for this. One is the Diamond Collection. It's all sparkly and glittery. Ooh. And the other one is the glow-in-the-dark one. And yes, they were signed in 3 different colors, as you can see. Yellow, Super Saiyan yellow there, white, and blue. It's like a light blue. And with actually 4 different inscriptions. So we only have 3 of the 4 here, but it's show me what you can do, KAIOKEN times 10, and my favorite, which is, you know, the Kamehameha, which goes all the way around the side of the box there, and it's signed there, Peter KELAMIS, Goku there on the bottom. Now, the only real variant of this is that I think a couple of the stickers did get some kind of a flaw, so we had to replace them with the standard TOYZILLA Certified Edition sticker, but there's only probably about 5 of those. So, and they'll have this COA here with them that says the colors and the quotations. Pretty awesome. And yeah, let's go watch the signing here and the interview with Peter. Hey, it's David here, Mayor of TOYZILLA, with a very special VIP guest here behind me. This is the amazing Peter KELAMIS. Hey.
How you doing, guys?
Who is all these things and more. English language Goku. So he signed this very cool Funko Pop. Yes, with black light. Remember, it's showing off the black light effect here. Look at the eyes. It's glowing. Ooh. All right, and we're about to do a live stream here with Michael Kapow. Michael here is ready to pound Peter with all the questions. So now, we're nice and we say, is there anything you do not want to talk about before we start?
No, let's keep it wide open unless it gets weird.
Yes,
and it might get weird, who knows?
And it might. Now, my job is to put pops in front of you.
All right.
So, let's see, that one's done.
Hello, TOYZILLA! As always, I am Michael Powell, your dastardly dashing voice of TOYZILLA Live, and by my side, as always, is my friend, my buddy, my compadre, David of TOYZILLA!
Hey! Thanks for joining us here, everyone, virtually, although I'm going to remind you right off the bat, if you are local to this area, you want to get down here pronto. Guest Peter KELAMIS right here in the other screen. He's the English language voice of Goku. He's Rolf from Ed and Eddie. He's also a super talented live action in front of the camera actor. He's been in Stargate, a lot of other things we'll talk to him about soon. We are here outside at the TOYZILLA swap meet in the nice fresh air. Come down here to 43 East Main Street right now. Bring your Goku stuff. Come on down. So Peter, thank you so much for joining us. Let's show off one of the pops that we're going to be signing here in just a minute. These are the glow-in-the-dark Funko Pops. And they have a very special sticker, very special COA that they come with. Peter's going to be signing all of these. My favorite, though, obviously, is the Kamehameha wave. You gotta sign with the. Can you get us started with the Kamehameha?
Here we go. So the Kamehameha goes and goes and goes and goes around the box because it's so.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Kamehameha! I'm not gonna do the whole thing because I want to protect my throat.
Now, when you were Goku on Dragon Ball Z, how would you do the Kamehameha? Now, you wouldn't actually have to do a way, but how would you deliver the line to the mic?
Something like that.
Yeah, that is awesome.
I'm curious, have you ever injured yourself shouting Kamehameha?
Every time. Every time, it takes a little bit of your soul.
Oh.
So I only have a little bit left.
Well, here's tea with honey and lemons to ya.
There you go. See, you came prepared.
Yep.
Well, it is a hot day. I'm actually going to take off my jacket here. just admire that it has all of the Dragon Balls
Yeah,
on the sleeve.
David, don't you know it's spring in California, aka summer in the rest of the world?
Oh, I know. It hit very suddenly, but so if I could make a wish, actually, it's a good question for Peter. If Peter, if you could make a wish, we could summon the dragon right now here to grant you any wish. What would you wish for?
Like a hot tub, like right here, and an open bar.
I like your wish. I would like to subscribe to your newsletter. First off, Peter, I read that you actually didn't start off as a voice actor. You actually started off as a stand-up comic. Am I right?
That's right. Yes, I was 18 years old when I first went down to amateur night, so I was underage. But I think at that time they would let you come in and perform and then leave, but I just didn't tell them, so I just stuck around. And then I think I started headlining the club.
Oh,
but I was 19, so
wow.
I kind of rose up kind of quickly. It was kind of the comedy boom at the time, so there was lots of venues, lots of places to perform at, and it was the good and lucky time to be kind of coming to the comedy ranks.
I'm curious, where did you get your start off in? Like, California?
In Vancouver.
Vancouver? Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Very
and
cool.
then toured all over, Canada, and then years later started doing some shows in the States, and then I've actually done stand up at a few conventions before too, and I might be doing a few more of that those coming up. I've also done a lot of voices and characters in my routines, and I think that's kind of what led me into voice work. Was I was kind of doing these weird characters anyways, and then I realized that you could potentially have a job and somebody would pay you to do them. Pretty awesome.
I mean, yeah, totally.
You get paid for loving what you do. If you can do that, you're a lucky person.
Exactly.
Peter, would you say there was like a big break or a moment in your early career where you're like, hey, I think this is going to work out?
Well, it was weird. I couldn't get a voiceover like animation gig for a long time. I was getting really frustrated and not ready to give up, but definitely frustrated.
Yeah.
And then I wrote for the show called The Roswell Conspiracies, and then I ended up getting one of the leads on it, and it was like a 52 episode order, and it was this huge show, and that kind of broke the door down after that. And then I landed Goku and Dragon Ball Z, and then Ed, Ed and Eddie, and a whole bunch of other things.
It kind of just snowballed.
On and on. Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Was there a fallback career you had if that didn't work out, or was it like, nothing else?
No, I was really banking on this word. I don't know. You often get that question, what would you do if you weren't doing this? And I'm like, I don't know. Like I like woodworking because I made make my own planks, but I don't know. I'm just glad this worked out because I enjoy it so much. I keep doing it as long as they keep hiring.
So it was basically you always wanted to be at least in some aspect of the entertainment industry, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. I remember watching early variety shows. I mean, I'm old enough to say I used to watch like the Caribou Net show when I was even in school, getting in trouble. If you got in trouble doing a joke in front of the class, it was worth getting in trouble for. That's it. You got to laugh. It's good. It was worth it.
Always leave them laughing, right? I was kind of just curious what was involved with getting into that English production of Dragon Ball Z.
Ian Corlett, who is a friend of mine, was then and still remains a friend of mine now, was the very first English-speaking Goku North America, and he did the role for a little while, and then it came across the agent's desks that they were going to be recasting. I think Ian was moving on to some other work. So me and him often would go to the same auditions. We have a similar cadence. I think maybe he's a little bit higher than me, but we have a similar cadence. So I think that kind of prompted them to give me a shot to do it. And I did it and got it. And the rest is kind of history. But at the time, Dragon Ball was not anywhere near as big in North America as it was in Japan and other parts of the world. So we didn't really know, me, Brian Drummond, Scott McNeil, all these actors really didn't know what we were involved with. We didn't really know how big it was. And it was the early stages of kind of big animation shows that were getting recorded or redubbed in North America.
So was it kind of really just surreal how huge an impact that a franchise like Dragon Ball Z has kind of, honestly, I'm gonna say it, made its mark upon our society these days, and it's actually still going.
Well, it's still going. I mean, I voiced it over 20 years ago, and I still go to conventions fairly regularly. I like going, like meeting people, and they often have really touching stories that they used to watch a show when they were kids, say with a father or a cousin or something like that, and it means a lot to them. They really connect to it. It's part of their childhood. It's an honor to have been a part of their childhood that way.
These are some great lines from the show that you're using as inscriptions. I was going to ask if you have a favorite line or a favorite moment from any Dragon Ball Z episodes. I know it's been a while, so I'm not expecting you to remember line by line. But
one of my favorite lines, and why it makes me still laugh, was that tub of lard was a good warm up. When you do a voice in studio, they always have everybody has a certain line they say, and it brings them down to the voice. And that, for me, that was the line, as odd as it may seem.
I'm kind of curious. Like, before you got the role of Goku, were you familiar with anime or even heard of Dragon Ball before you got that role?
No. I was familiar with anime, but I wasn't familiar with Dragon Ball Z. I had heard of it, very minimally exposed to it.
Mm-hmm.
Partially because of the news. Like, people would say, "Oh, all these flashes are causing reactions to kids watching it," and there were stories like that were going around. And you're like, "What is this show?" So you obviously looked into it. So I knew what it was, but I didn't know a lot about it.
Okay. We got our buddy Avenging Penguin in chat. He posted, "Kamehameha, hi Peter, David, Michael, and Toyzilla." Well, hello to you too, buddy. Yeah. We're sad to see. Yeah, we're sad to see that you're unable to make it, but we understand, because that trek from Texas to Southern California could be a bit much.
And actually, I will be in Texas next month at KAMEHAMEHAAAAAAAA. So if you can't make it to this one, obviously you can check out KAMEHACON.com. Dragon Ball Z only dedicated convention, and it's a blast every year.
That's awesome. Actually, I got another kind of question, is because you've done both like anime dubs and also American animation. Is there a difference?
There's a huge difference. One is called prelay, where you're when you see it in movies sometimes, where it's just you microphone in the studio and you're laying the voice down, and then they send up the audio, and the animators animate to your voice.
Okay.
So dubbing is a lot more difficult. It certainly was for Dragon Ball Z, because there's so much screaming and fighting and quick reactions and yelling, and sometimes the Japanese dialogue flaps of the mouth don't match the North American dialogue itself.
Mm-hmm.
So you speed it up or slow it down or make quick edits and dialogue to try to make it look like you're matching the mouth.
Okay.
So it's a lot harder to do. It's a bit more of a skill, because they'll give you a line and then you see it, and then the audio engineer will say, hit go, and you hear these 3 beeps, and it'll go, boop, 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 and after the 3rd beep, you do your line. So they cue it up to the mouth of the character on screen. Yeah. Okay. So it's a little complicated, but you get better at it as you go.
Okay. Do you prefer doing the dubs or the American animation?
No, I don't think anybody prefers doing dubs. It's a lot harder. And you try your best to match, like I say, flaps and things like that. But prelay is, if you're doing a new cartoon, it's all prelay.
Okay.
And
Okay. We've talked to other voice actors about this before, that sometimes they were able to actually be in the same booth, the voice booth, as their co-stars. Was there a lot of that with Dragon Ball, and also something like Ed, Ed, and Eddie?
Dragon Ball never, because it would be, it's so time consuming because of the dub process that I just explained, to have more than one person in the room. So they would just do your lines. With Ed, Ed, and Eddie, we started with the entire cast in the room, like 12 people, something like that, 10 or 12 people. But we'd be laughing our asses off so bad, and we'd misbehave so much that I think after about year one, they said, okay, that's it. We're going to record the Eds in like one session, and then the rest of you in another session. So they split us up because we were bad.
Well, it sounded like a party. It
was, that show was a lot of fun.
Sound like a lot of fun, yeah.
Do you have any particular kind of a memory or a story that you want to share with us from the Ed and Eddie voice booth?
One time, it was a Christmas special, and unbeknownst to me, they used to give you a warning for things like this, but I had to sing an entire song as Rolf, and it was the Yeks My Yak song. So this like fictional Christmas character, Yeks My Yak, who steals.
I remember that.
Presents and things like this. Really weird. But I didn't know until I got there, and they go, "Oh yeah, you're singing this Yeks My Yak song." I'm like, "What the hell are you talking about?" And it's so quick. It's like, "Oh, Yeks My Yak," and it's like that quickly, the pace. And I looked at it. It was like, okay, either we're gonna get this in like 1 or 2 takes, or we're gonna be here for hours. And 2 takes. We got 2 takes.
Oh, that's good. Yeah. That's good.
Curious more about the evolution of Goku from the Japanese voice, through Peter. Was there a lot of studying that you did to play the role of Goku, and what was the influence, and how much was the original Japanese actor influence as well?
Well, Nozawa is, obviously a female voice actress. She's still active with Goku and a million other things today. She's still probably one of the best known voice actresses in the world, and she's in her 80s now. So it would be a pleasure to meet her someday. She's like the Beyonce of animation, So I would literally, because of the dubbing process, be listening to her doing the lines. So it was a very high pitched, scream that they wanted me to get close to, but still make my own. So it's almost like, hey, we want this, but not this. So try to find the middle ground, and that's kind of where I landed with the voice. He is kind of an innocent soul. I remember one of his lines were, why do women have butts on their chest? That was an actual line from the show, where he was kind of just naive to the point of, even sexuality was something that was just kind of above him. That's not where his thought pattern was. And he was just kind of this innocent kind of kid-like persona.
You played him, the young Goku, a bit too, though, right? Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yes, a little bit in the very early stages. But that's at the time. This is how quickly the show moved. I was in the studio one day, and they said, "Here, do this guy." I'm like, who? They go, Master Roshi, just do that. It was that much, warning. And then you just jump into it like, oh, hey, Goku. So I'm actually credited with doing Master Roshi for a short period of time.
Was there any fan interaction that you had that, is memorable, that, someone who grew up with Goku? We were talking about this before, as Goku with Goku as your actual dad wasn't probably the best.
Yeah.
He wasn't the best dad. I mean, between Goku and Piccolo,
right.
Piccolo might have been the better dad.
Even Vegeta, honestly.
Vegeta maybe even a better dad.
Yeah, Vegeta is your dad, but go clean your room. And you go, and you'd be scared. Right.
Yeah.
But one of the coolest things that we signed, I say we because it was at KAMEHAMEHAAAAAAA a couple of years ago, and Brian Drummond and me were sitting together or next to each other, and a guy came in with an entire VCR, like a full-scale VCR And Brian signed it, and he goes, "Oh my God, wait till you see this." And they handed it to me, and you opened up the flap, and inside was a VHS tape with felt in Dragon Ball Z tape that they had copied from somewhere, and they played it so much that it eventually died in the machine. But they saved the machine, and they didn't remove it, so we ended up signing the VCR. And then he took the VCR home.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Because it was almost like the childhood in a metal box.
Yeah.
You know, the memories, because they played it so much, and this weird item meant so much to them. And when you get stuff like that, it's really cool.
Mm-hmm. A lot of sentimental value there. Avenging Penguin with a question. Peter, considering that you travel to many places, is there anything you'd like to do when you arrive to a new place?
I try to immerse myself in a little bit of culture, even though oftentimes we're not in the city very long.
Yeah.
We get in the next floor, and then we hit the floor the next day, and then they fly us out on the last day, you know, as the convention closes. But whenever I have time, I really like to get out and do things. Like, small example is every time we go to Texas, we have to go to a Texas barbecue. Me and the other actors are like, okay, I'm the guy that finds it because I do that. So I'll find one close by, and as soon as the convention closes, off we go for a Texas barbecue and beers, and just enjoy the culture a little bit.
Do you have a particular favorite local specialty anywhere?
Food-wise?
Yeah.
Again, it kind of depends where I'm going. Texas, we always do the barbecue. I remember me and another actor were in Baltimore once, and we found out that Oprah, who used to be a broadcaster in the area, had this place where they made the best crab cakes that she said in the world. So me and the other actor took an Uber to the crab cake place that Oprah used to live at. And they were damn good crab cakes. Sorry, any fans out there, if you ever see us come into your city, and send us a message on Twitter or whatever else, and let us know where we should go, because we do appreciate the advice.
Nice.
Give us a rundown on any appearances, any conventions you're going to be at soon, Peter, like any upcoming shows?
Yeah. The next one is Las Vegas Fan Expo, 22nd to the 24th of April. And then the following weekend is KAMEHAMEHAAAAAAAAA in Dallas, the 29th to May 1st. And then I go to Columbus in May, and then Reno in June, and then San Antonio in June. And, so there's some cool spots.
I want to make sure I get more of these pops here signs. I'm going to go in here, and we'll see how we're doing so far. This one's an experiment. We're actually going to try two colors on this one. We're going to start with a really light blue, but hopefully mush it up. But then it's going to go over it later with the white once it dries. There we go. I can quote with white and blue.
Oh, we have Avenging Penguin with another question. With the popularity of multiverses and all possibilities happening, if Plank and Goku got in a fight, who do you think would win?
Oh, you know what? I think Plank, because you know what? He doesn't say a word. So I had friends who used to be bouncers, and whenever they had a drunk person outside of the bar trying to fight them, they always said, be careful of the guy that doesn't say much, because that's the guy to worry about. I look for items throughout the year. I have a big cabinet at my office at home, and I look for Dragon Ball Z related stuff throughout the year. All like weird, eclectic kind of things, and come convention time, I kind of show up with all sorts of stuff. And some of the other actors have named me Merch Man, because I'll take the moniker. I don't care, because I always like finding something new and interesting. You know, whether it's Dragon Balls or planks or, you know, pop figures or, you know, like acrylic things, whatever they are. I like looking for something new. You know, never feel bad about going to a convention. Given the choice, go. You know, it's fun.
Yeah. I'm looking forward. Myself, I will be going to my first convention in 2 years. Next week. Yeah. WonderCon. Yeah.
Nice.
I'll be there on a panel myself, talking about everyday geek fashion. So that should be fun.
Excellent.
Yeah, no, Toyzilla will have a table there. It's actually DL number 2. And we're actually going to be selling the first 10 of Peter's signed pops that we're signing here today. It's going to be our WonderCon exclusive. I'm so glad conventions are back. And it feel like it's been years and years, kind of, because it has, because of the pandemic. It's been a big change for you during the pandemic to record. Have you been able to keep working? Has it been challenging?
Yes, it has been challenging. When things first kind of broke, I mean, I already had a bit of a recording facility at home to do things at, but going to a studio, when you did go, you had to prove vaccination, they had to take your temperature on the way in, you had to sign a form, the engineers were not even in the room with you, the directors were no longer in the studio, they would zoom in their direction. It was really you're really secluded, and it still remains that way to a large degree. I think it's slowly opening up, but you really miss the days like we were talking about where you were there with another cast member having fun, doing lines, bouncing them off each other. It's become very sterile for obvious reasons, but hopefully we're heading out of that.
It's been challenging all over, but yeah, especially for toy stores like ours that were kind of shut down for a long time. But these signings are fantastic because it really connects the world in a way, and these live streams. People who ordinarily would never be able to meet you can kind of meet you virtually through Twitch.
That's one of the reasons why we do these type of things.
Necessity is the child of invention. Is that what the phrase is?
I think necessity is the mother of
invention.
The mother of invention.
Yeah. Don't forget about the mothers.
Yes.
I'm stirring it up completely, but you figured out what I was trying to say.
Yeah. I listened to one of your previous interviews, and you said that sometimes you remember that some people that you've met and you actually use their voices for some of your roles. I was wondering if you could tell us a little bit about that, like maybe certain characters or anything like that. Any anecdotes?
Yeah, there was one series a few years back called Class of the Titans, and it was all about like Greek mythological kind of characters and Hercules and fighting monsters and things like that. And I remember I went in and read for a few characters, and the directors and producers were like, "Okay, great." I said, "Well, I want to read for Grandmother Hercules," and they're like, "Yeah, whatever." I said, No, I'm serious. I want to read for Grandma Hercules. And I'm like, "Okay." So I just did my own Greek grandmother, so it's like, "Oh, Hercules, you look so tired. Why don't you lay down?" And I ended up getting the role. So,
that's awesome.
Playing a 90-year-old Greek grandmother. So
I love that. I love that franchise. That I'm a fan of. Stargate SG-1, right?
Right. So I was I got to be on SG-1 twice, and then I never made it on Atlantis, and then I became kind of a regular character on Stargate Universe, and that was an amazing experience. Great group of people, great producers, great camera people. It was just this dream gig, and everybody involved wished that it would have lasted longer. Unfortunately, got 2 seasons, but amazing experience, and amazing franchise, and amazing fans that still are screaming for a new series. I think the fan base deserves one. I hope they produce something.
Yeah. I'm kind of curious. Are you yourself? Are you a fan of franchises like genres like that, like sci-fi, fantasy, and stuff like that?
Yeah, I'm a huge sci-fi fan, massive. A huge Star Wars fan. Like one of the coolest gigs I ever.
I knew I liked you. You like Star Wars. I knew I liked you.
No, I mean I got to do the voice of Yoda for Star Wars Lego mini movies. That was like the biggest thrill for me. A, getting to do Yoda. B, getting a paycheck from LucasArts. Yeah. Like how often can you say, "Oh yeah, George Lucas paid me to do Yoda"?
You got like a wrist brace there. It's like,
I made that.
Is it? Oh!
Yeah, a little 4-star leather band I made for myself.
That's awesome. Hopefully it helps protect the wrist, because after doing
after a little while,
it's painful. I'm gonna try to get everyone here to do a Kamehameha, and we'll do a wave of it. I think we'll start with Peter. We'll go
around. Go ahead and demonstrate the Kamehameha for us right now.
I think it goes like this.
Okay, and then forward. Is that correct? Can you show us? Actually, yeah. Peter, you show us. Get up here.
Yeah, it's kind of almost like this. You start creating it, red basket there, and then you launch it.
All right, these guys don't know what we're doing. Kamehameha, give me a Kamehameha. No, he's eating. Okay, okay, Ricky, finish me off. Yay!
Nicely done.
Woo, good job, you guys. Good job.
Because yes, we are getting down to that time. Yeah, Peter, I was wondering, earlier you said that you had a movie coming out soon. It was called American
Dreamer.
American Dreamer. I was wondering if you could tell us a little bit about that.
It's kind of a quirky comedy. But I was very excited about it because I got to work with Peter Dinklage and Shirley MacLaine. So an icon from Hollywood's golden age, in addition to one of my favorite actors currently, Peter Dinklage. So it was an incredible experience to be on set with both of them, and they were both incredibly nice.
Well, I can't wait to see that movie.
Peter, I was just wondering, what are you a fan of? What do you collect any toys? We usually ask this question at the beginning. I almost forgot.
I mean, when I was younger, being a Canadian kid, I was always hockey cards. I'm a huge hockey fan, so I still have boxes and boxes of hockey cards. Some of them worth, I guess, probably a few bucks now. But for me, yeah, it was hockey card collecting, and then, like I say, throughout the year, I look for different Goku and anime or projects that I've worked on, kind of items that I store until convention time comes up. And although I collect them, I always bring them to the table and offer them up to other people to enjoy as well.
Veggie Penguin has a question for you, actually, Peter. He wants to know, what's your favorite part of Dragon Con?
The cosplays are just mind-blowing. And they range everywhere from spray paint on the body to outfits that you don't know how they got them there. They're like 10 feet high. Like you see Chewbacca's that are like 9 feet high walking around. I remember there was a group of Chewbaccas, and we saw them in the bar afterwards, and it's like Dragon Con happens in like first week of September in Atlanta, so it's like 130 degrees outside. And these guys, God bless them, are just committed to their art underneath these Chewbacca outfits. And we saw them at the bar afterwards. Their helmets were off, and they were just like downing beers. Like it was like, oh my God. They're losing like 10 pounds a day in sweat.
Yeah.
So the commitment to the cosplay, that's what's amazing to me.
I always wonder, what do you call a group of Wookiees? Like, are they like a flock? Are they like a gathering of Wookiees? A murder of Wookiees? A gaggle? A gaggle of Wookiees? We'll go with gaggle. We'll go with a gaggle of Wookiees.
You know what? The coolest is I've only found this out a couple of years ago, that a group of crows, you know what the grouping of crows is called?
Yes.
A murder of crows.
A murder of crows?
Let's say it's a murder of Wookiees.
Mm-hmm. Do you know what a group of owls are known as?
No.
A parliament of owls.
Parliament. I did know that.
Yeah.
And you just reminded Parliament of Owls. I go like the murder one. That's creepy.
I whenever I think of Parliament of Owls, I just envision an owl with one of those, British giant wigs and judge robes. But yeah, we are getting down to that time. Real quick, Peter, do you have anything you want to tell your fans?
I continue to be thankful and want to thank them for having an interest that still is so big today, that brings us to conventions and gatherings like this. I just wanted to say thank you for that. Meeting each and every one of you is a treat. It really, really is. I enjoy it. I like going to cons, and I look forward to meeting as many of you as I can.
As always, you can find me on my social medias, which is at Mr. Kapao. That's MrKapao. Or my Facebook page, which is facebook.com/Michael Powell Does Stuff, because I do a lot of stuff like my YouTube channels, fantastic tales of adventure or my horror channel, Dastardly Tales of Horror. Until next time,
Make
be
some
good,
room there.
be great, be
The guys that fight too.
awesome. Bye.
Thank you very much, guys. Thanks for having me.
Cool.